Hello beautiful people, welcome to another video of Grinding the Ladder. If you watched the previous one, you know that I have been playing Secret ANYFIN Paladin. But as I was getting closer to rank 10, I started to find quite a number of meta decks, namely Priests and Warlocks. And I started going up and down a bit, so I decided to try something new, and I found GetMeowth's MURLOC PALADIN in Into the Wild HS Discord server. And there was a very interesting discussion about these two decks, and the point that I made there was that I prefer to play the ANYFIN version, but the MURLOC Paladin version from GetMeowth is a lot more consistent. And I believe that it's a lot more consistent for a number of reasons. If you recall, Secret ANYFIN Paladin builds up an early board and then has got these tempo turns with Mysterious Challenger, with Call to Arms, with Sunkeeper Tarim, and finally with ANYFIN Can Happen. It is particularly reliant on ANYFIN Can Happen if the game does extend to the late game. On the other hand, GetMeowth's MURLOC Paladin is a lot more consistent because first it delivers a lot more pressure in the early game because of cards like the Murloc Tidecaller and the Green Scale Chum. So we have the opportunity of having buffed Murlocs early on in the game. It also goes into Call to Arms, but in turn 4 we have the opportunity of playing Gentle Megasaur, and Gentle Megasaur can be pretty brutal really quickly. I had a turn 5 kill dealing, I don't want to lie, 25 damage to an opponent on turn 5, and this was while I was dealing with this board in the previous turns. So a pretty brutal turn 5 because I was able to build a board until then. Last but not least, Loatheb does play a big role in this deck, and Secret ANYFIN is not running. Loatheb does basically allows us to have a board in that mid game. It worked really well against Mage and not Priest, which was interesting. And last but not least, Sunkeeper Tarim, just like with the Secret ANYFIN, can allow for a bunch of things. I think that the big difference in terms of consistency, however, against the whole meta is actually Spellbreaker. Secret ANYFIN, when facing things like Warlock, needs exactly Sunkeeper Tarim or ANYFIN. And if we are in turn 9, we probably won't be able to play the ANYFIN, and it becomes a little bit worse if we already played that Sunkeeper Tarim. However, Spellbreaker allows us to do a lot more things a lot sooner. For instance, we can delay a Warlock. We can use the Spellbreaker to just go over one of the Spreading Plague taunts, and we can deal with the Void Lords and so on and so forth. So there's a lot more answers a lot sooner. For instance, a Loatheb right before a Spreading Plague turn can be pretty backbreaking for any kind of druid, really, that uses that card. I'm going to show you a game where I didn't play particularly well, but it does show how the deck consistently builds boards that need to be handled, and then goes into the late game where all of the things that the deck is able to do because of Spellbreaker it ends up doing. So check the game, and after the game I will return and discuss some stats about these two decks to compare them and give you an overview of which one you want to play. I'll see you in a bit. Sorry, not the best way to start a video with a cough. Okay, so it's now Sunday morning. I hit 10 yesterday with this deck, and I decided to record some videos with it because it's pretty neat. So this is GetMeowth's MURLOC Paladin. And I'm not going to play the Tight Collar. I'm going to play the Righteous Protector. I've been having a little bit of problem with Spiteful Summoner Priests. So we'll see what happens next. Maybe I should not. I autoplayed this one. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should have kept. Maybe I should have kept. Maybe that was a misplay, because that that card was more valuable, and I could have got the pain in this guy. Now this is not particularly helpful. And if I play the Megasaur, I only affect this guy, which isn't much. So maybe I just draw. How many cards does he have? 7. I will have 7 also. Sounds good. Okay, Call to Arms is good. Finley is good. Finley is really good. On the other hand, next turn I can have a pretty big... Well, if Finley survives, I can have a pretty nice turn next turn. Do I want to tap? I don't. I'm thinning the deck like crazy.
I must move quickly. Let me think.
I think this is Big Priest. I'll just try to go all in on him. Okay. There we go. So, how do we want to go about this? Maybe I want this hero power, right? Now that's a 3. I think I'm not playing this correctly. I honestly don't think that I'm playing this correctly. This is very likely a Big Priest. I'm not really doing much. I'm not really doing much. So, what can I get? Righteous Protector, Eye Juggler, Mini Bot. I can get a Mini Bot with this. No. If I buff that guy, I don't want. I want to hold this for Sunkeeper Tarim. This guy is clearing the board like crazy. I barely put any damage into him.
I wonder.
Lothab would be, yeah, here we go. This is a pretty good Tarim, right? Yeah. So should I kill these two guys? I should, right? The Knife Shoulder is not doing anything. And I want to keep the Murlocs, just in case I'm able to do some interesting thing. No, man. It's one after the other. Okay. Oh, I did this so that he cannot attack, so that he cannot shadow or do anything to this guy. Now I have 19 on board, but I'm expecting more board clears. Oh, this helps a lot. So
your magic shall not save.
okay, yeah. What can I say? I played this badly, I think. I was my board was cleared a number of times. I didn't count it, but it was a number of times, and I still got to win. That says something about this deck. Hey, you're still there. So I played these two decks for about the same number of games now, and I want to compare the two to kind of prove the point of consistency. So with Jonahrah's Secret ANYFIN, I played between ranks 14 and 12. I had 8 wins, 4 losses, so 2/3 wins, about 67% win rate, a little bit lower. And HS Replay does say that this deck list specifically has 66% win rate. This is the first thing that I find kind of weird. Because usually I have a higher win rate than what is referred in HS Replay. So I was expecting that I would have a much higher win rate overall with this deck, given the win rate that is reported on HS Replay. GetMeowth's MURLOC Paladin, on the other hand, I played it between ranks 12 and 10, with a 10-3, which is a 77% win rate, and HS Replay does mention a 65% win rate. So basically the two decks are equivalent in HS Replay. However, I played GetMeowth on slightly higher ranks and had a much better result with that deck. And to me that is all about consistency. Sometimes Secret ANYFIN just doesn't get the card that it needs and the answers are relatively specific, while GetMeowth's MURLOC Paladin does have a number of answers that you can draw from the deck in some very particular times of the game. And I believe that this consistency is what explains how I got a much more respectable win rate on higher ranks than I got with the other deck in lower ranks. However, for fun's sake, I have to say that I do prefer to play Secret ANYFIN. It's a lot more mindful game in a way. Although I found that as I was playing GetMeowth's MURLOC Paladin, planning the big Murloc turns and the big Gentle Megasaur turns and the big Tarim turns was very relevant. I found it more intricate to play the Secret ANYFIN because the game plan is so broken into several distinct pieces that don't always work together, that it makes it a little bit more challenging and, in my opinion, fun. However, for the purpose of grinding and climbing, I would definitely prefer, and that's what I'm doing, play GetMeowth's MURLOC Paladin. So I hope you enjoyed the game and the explanations and all of that good stuff, and statistics and so on. If you want, both decks are good to climb, but if you want a little bit more consistency, just pick up the GetMeowth. So until the next video, bye bye.